What's up, guys? We are here at Cedar Point. I believe that's called what? America's Roller Coast?
Yes.
And rock on, get to the point, any other number of slogans they've had over the years. We've been wanting to come back here for a long time. Haven't been here since 2006. A lot of new stuff to ride. Spoiler alert, a lot of stuff we've already ridden because we did this out of order. But yeah, there was some new stuff. This is the start of our big roller coaster trip. There's going to be a lot more parks to come, hopefully. Yeah, and we came here and we coincided with the 150th, which was actually last year, 2020. But the celebration is this year. So
because last year was
last year kind of sucked. So so we're here at Cedar Point. We're gonna put up as much footage as we can. It might be one video, it might be two, depending on how much stuff we actually film. It rained this afternoon, so a lot of footage is gonna look weird because there'll be some bright suns and there'll be some dark skies. But yeah, enjoy. All right, as we said, 150th was actually last year, but because they couldn't do the big celebration, they actually did open during the pandemic, but they weren't under normal operations and they couldn't do all the celebrations. So this year is sort of the big 150th 1 year delayed, where they've got parades and shows and whatnot. So this is a little bit of a look down the midway as we walk down towards the rest of the park. The new to us icon at the front of the park, which replaced like Demon Drop and Disaster Transport in terms of location, and it's like the new icon for when you come into the front entrance, is Gatekeeper. This is a B&M wing coaster. There's a few of these in North America. This is the first one I've been on. I think some people mockingly refer to it as Gate Sleeper. However, I think it's actually a very fun ride, at least to me. Interesting sensation. It's very smooth. A lot of floating, a lot of gliding stuff. Definitely, to me, something you could ride over and over again. Unfortunately, after the block break, not quite as exciting, but up until the block break, a lot of fun. That's the only real flaw with it. But yeah, we've ridden this one 2 times already, and it was a lot of fun. I'd like to ride more of these if I can find some more out in the wild. Ocean Motion, there's a Buccaneer swing ride that's closed due to the rain. Cedar Point's Carousel, and a look down the main midway. Skyway, which only runs through the midway at the entrance, but that's how big the entrance is. And if you've been to Las Vegas, you get a little bit of a Las Vegas feel here, where everything's so big that it seems like it's a lot closer than it actually is. So you think you're only about 5 minutes away from something that looks really tall, and it ends up taking you 15 minutes to get there. But it's all part of the experience. Hey Snoopy, how's it going? Enjoying the rain? Yeah, me too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Cedar Fair's giant wheel, something called the Tiki Twirl. I don't really see much tiki about it, but who am I to say? And here we have Wicked Twister, Intamin Pulse Coaster that will be closing on September 6th, 2021. So we rode it yesterday. It's a fine ride. It's nothing special, but it's cool. Hi. We'll see if we can get this thing cycling. Like I said, I think there's one at Valley Fair that actually holds you in one of the spikes, which would be kind of cool, but I think this is it's on the banks of Lake Erie, and maybe this real estate is just too valuable for Cedar Point now. So we'll catch this thing running and give you an idea what it looks like when it goes. There's Cedar Point's Windseeker. There's a ride I won't ride, rain or shine, because I've seen too many of them stuck at the top, and where I do not want to be is stuck at the top. There goes Wicked Twister. Basically an impulse shuttle, one train, back and forth, progressively higher on the spikes. That's probably the best spot right there, in the back on the reverse spike when it gets nearest to the top. That's the highlight of the ride, at least for me. Giant wheels do not operate in the rain. Troika does though. Troika was on the list, but I don't think we're going to get to it. Max Air has been closed the entire time we've been here. Big pendulum ride. I think we rode that when we were here last in 2006. Anyways, Troika's fun, but it is very wet. Just sit there in the rain while they load and unload. Despite the hustle. Good operation, Cedar Point, all around. This is the Gatekeeper's actual entrance where Disaster Transport used to be. Did they close it? Fine. Oh no, oh no. Anyway, so this is where Disaster Transport used to be. This is where you go and ride or get in line for Gatekeeper, although, like I said, it passes in front of the park. So we're off to our next internal park expedition. Expedition bathroom. Here we come. Here we go. Hello, Skyride. Can't walk from one end of the midway to the other? Take a Skyride. Or just take it because it's a novelty and it's a dying breed of attraction.
Yeah, there's no
Hello, Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper and Games of Chance.
I think you remember next one you're playing.
There's the Bayside with the marina. Probably obvious because of all the boats. Track view of Raptor, Blue Streak, Valravyn. There's the Lake Erie side, Max Air, Wicked Twister, Reston Almost Peace, Breakers Hotel, Water Tower, Val checking out the water tower. Super enthused about this footage, I'm sure. Hey, there's the Cedar Downs from above. There's a Famous Dave's off in the distance. I don't know if it's any better than a normal Famous Dave's, but it is on the water, so it's got that going for it. I will not be reporting back in. Oh yeah, wave swinger. And off in the distance you have Millennium Force with a train going up the lift that you probably cannot see. This is Valravyn. We're descending down into the station now, which lets you off by the corkscrew. And this is where the midway kind of splits off into two. If you go to the right, that's the, I think, the older portion where they have all the Aero coasters and Top Thrill Dragster. And then if you go to the left, you get to Millennium Force, Iron Dragon, Aruguru, and eventually to the back of the park and the Frontier Trail. And then as usual, there's always a B&M to interrupt you in the distance. So off to see more of the left-hand side. Huh.
With sunglasses.
A cow with sunglasses advertising ice cream. Good job, cow. Here's the sign for the Mac Shack. Is the gourmet mac and cheese any good? I don't know, but the sign's really cool. There's Raptor. It's going to rule the sky.
And it does look like I got you on that one. I'm sorry. Thank you for playing. I can get one of this next.
Raptor, the B&M inverted. I believe that what they say here, I can tell you when it opened because they like to say drop on the floor since 94. And I now like to say pleasing me since 2003 because that's when I first wrote it. And
say it right though.
I got an eye roll from Val.
Say it right.
Say what right?
Raptor rules the sky.
Oh yeah, Raptor rules the sky. How could you even forget? This is another fun one that I think is overlooked now because there's so many other B&M inverteds, but it's actually got a couple of cool helixes that pull I think the second one pulls a lot of G's. I don't know. It's sort of a unique layout, and it has a 90-degree drop into the first drop, unlike Batman where it's a 180 degree. So you get a little bit more of a straight shot at the drop. But no, it's another fun inverted. What is one uniquely Cedar Point thing? Well, maybe not uniquely, but what's one thing that's not that common that you have to do when you come to Cedar Point?
Cedar Down.
You have to Cedar Down. So
I think it was opened in like the 30s.
It's pretty old. It's pretty fun. It's not a common ride anymore. We'll cut to some other footage we took when it was cycling empty, but we are here. There you go, some factoids on Cedar Downs Racing Derby. As they like to say, as Roman Mars likes to say on 99% Invisible, always read the plaque. You can find out that this was built by Pryor and Church in the early 20s. And it was originally built for a park in Euclid Beach, Cleveland. And then it Cedar Point purchased the ride in '67, moved it here, restored it. And it's a great old-fashioned ride. It's really cool that Cedar Point decided to restore it and keep it, and it's in really good shape. And then it became, I think, part of some sort of National Carousel Association in 1978. But yeah, ride this when you come to Cedar Point. It's worth your time.
So much fun.
There's Cedar Point's 60s wooden coaster, the Blue Streak, showing its age a little bit in terms of the trains. Trains aren't the most comfortable if you're, I don't know, my size, but it was a fun ride, a little bit more forceful than I remember from a long time ago. And now I'm wondering if it doesn't run in the rain, because although they just sent a train, they're not loading this one. But this is a classic wooden coaster. I'm glad it's still here. Oh no, they're running. It looks like they're running one train. That's it. So fun ride. A little rough, fun ride. So it's almost like there's a couple of neighborhoods in this park. I feel like this is sort of B&M Boulevard, because you got Raptor over here, Valravyn, and then across the midway you have Gatekeeper. And then if you go up towards Power Tower and where Top Thrill Dragster is, it's what I'm going to maybe call Aero Alley. Like if you start with Iron Dragon and then you get to Corkscrew and then you get to Magnum, Gemini, and Cedar Creek Mine Ride, all Aeros, so Aero Alley.
And what's running?
Running? What's that?
Yeah, the Arrows.
Oh, a little dig at Aero there. I see. The Arrows can't run in the rain. The B&Ms do. Take that.
Arrows running.
Oh, the Arrows are running.
So is the Dragster can't run right now.
Yeah, Top Thrill Dragster. Probably not ideal to get raindrops in your face at 120 miles an hour. Just, you know, even if the ride ran in that environment, I don't think you'd want to ride it in that environment. So. But kudos to Cedar Point for keeping as much open as they can in the rain. Valravyn, Cedar Point's B&M dive coaster that opened, what did they say, 5 years ago? 2016. You know, it's a good ride. There's, I guess, what have we heard? Discussion. Is it better than Shikara? Is it not as good as Shikara?
Nobody likes it as much as Shikara, but you know what? It's got that really fun twisty thing at the end.
Yeah, everything. This ride has a lot of fun stuff after the block break, which you can't say for a lot of B&M dive coasters. So we really liked it. This is a lot of fun. Is it better than Shikara? I don't know, but it's here, and I rode it, and I love it. So, that's what I get. Oh, here we go. Actually. So yeah, post block break, which is coming up, a lot more interesting elements, including a big floater twist after the dive loop there. Coming up right here. Really cool airtime right there. And then a little bunny hopped in. Fun, very fun.
It's super fun. Oh, wait for it.
They actually are running. I think they're running.
Yeah.
They might have reopened, yeah. So this is Iron Dragon, the Aero suspended coaster. I think this opened, what, a year before Ninja? It's affectionately known as Dragon Iron because it's really not that fast, but it's still fun for the kind of ride that it is. It's got a mid-course lift instead of a end-of-the-ride lift. But I think we're gonna ride at least one more of these. The Bat, right? We're going for the Bat. I don't know. It was fun.
Not the original Bat though.
Not the original Bat, because the original Bat was the one that didn't work. So. All right, next we come up to Aruguru Fka Mantis. This is the B&M stand-up that opened in 97 or 96, right before Riddler. It has since been converted to a floorless. It is no longer a standing coaster. Let's see if we can get a little action shot of it moving. Nobody asked, but here's what I think of Aruguru stand-up or sit-down versus Mantis as the stand-up. I'm sort of an apologist for stand-up coasters. I really like Mantis. I'm an old fan of Shockwave. I like the Riddler's Revenge. Having converted this one, I think the first half works really well as a floorless coaster. All the elements, the oblique loop, the dive loop, the regular vertical loop, all are elements that work well as a sit-down. Once you get after the block break, and it's a lot of laterals where it's designed more for a stand-up coaster, where you're maybe perpendicular to the ground or parallel to the ground. Geometry is not my strong suit. I think that doesn't work as well as a sit-down ride. That's why I think it should still be a stand-up. But that's just what I know. And
yeah, it gets to be an earboxer at the end.
Okay, then there's that too. Yeah. Sometimes the B&M shoulder restraints can be a little bit of a headbanger. So. Overall, not a bad ride. I don't know if it's better or worse than Mantis, other than I sentimentally like stand-up coaster. And then there's Millennium Force. If you were to time travel back to talk to 1997, Kevin, and say there's an awesome Intamin ride, and it operates pretty well, I would say, no, you're a liar. But this is an awesome Intamin ride. The first Giga coaster, 300 feet tall, goes I think 93 miles an hour max. All power, no block brake, and comes in strong. This is actually the end of the ride. It'll come in high speed, bank on that turn, and then come into the brake run. This is one of the premier rides in the park, if not the premier ride in the park, and I don't mean premier rides. So, what do you think about Millennium Force?
It's one of my favorite rides all time.
Yeah.
Fast, smooth, floaty, it's super fun.
Day ride or night ride?
Night ride.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, this morning that was pretty good.
This morning's ride was really good. Last night's night ride was spectacular. Oh, pro tip, if you're riding at night, keep your mouth closed, lots of gnats. The unload operator will ask who ate the most bugs when you come back in, which is a good sign that it always happens. So anyways, you gotta ride Millennium Force to become to Cedar Point. It's not really an option unless you are roller coaster adverse, and then if you are, I'm not sure why you chose Cedar Point. So go on it, it's awesome. Going to Cedar Point, vegan or vegetarian? Here's the place for you, all the way in the back of the park, the Wild Turnip. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free. So I'm kind of joking about it being in the back of the park, but it is nice that they have a restaurant dedicated to other kinds of food, and then it's not all just French fries and popcorn. And
It's actually sounding really good right now.
oh, watch your puddle. Yeah, I mean, if you're here long enough, you might want to get something more nutritious. There's Skyhawk and their shoot the chutes. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, there we go. It's Maverick. This is an Intamin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had so many issues with it. Anyway, this is an Intamin coaster, no inversions. It's a launch coaster with a couple different launches. It's fun. There's such a thing on a ride as a snappy transition, and then there's what I would call a Maverick transition. You get whipped side to side quite a bit. You have overbanked, or not overbanked, you have a greater than 9-degree drop, and a bunch of like fast places and a really cool tunnel, which is what will be coming down here in just a moment. So it's a fun ride. It seems to break a lot, and it always has a long line. So this is one to use fast lane on, or come here and camp out in the morning if you really want to ride it, because it seems to be very popular despite the fact that it's been open for a long. What's best new ride in 2007, as that notice says. So what'd you think, Maverick?
It's fun. Glad they had the comfort collars instead of regular shoulder harnesses.
Yeah, the shoulder harnesses would be terrible on this. Yeah, the launches are great, and the tunnel part's really fun. You know, it's a good ride. Not my, I would say, in YouTube parlance, not my favorite. I liked it. It's a real enthusiast coaster. Like, people really like it, but I think that there's a little bit of a, well, this one hurt me a little bit, so, or this one's rough, so therefore it must be better. I'd rather go ride Steel Vengeance or Millennium Force. I got my ride in on Maverick and it was fun, but that's not the one I would do more than once for, so at least for me. I'll say this for Maverick, at least if having only ridden it once, you cannot get an idea of what the layout is unless you maybe study ahead of time. Pretty crazy. All right, this is Steel Vengeance. This is this coaster formerly known as Mean Streak. Got the RMC conversion a couple years ago, and it is crazy. Mean Streak was kind of not a great wooden coaster after its first couple years. RMC worked their magic, and this ride is awesome. You can't really tell, but there is kind of non-stop action and a lot of tricks and a lot of airtime. Come back around a little bit, twist one way, twist the other. It's intense, doesn't let up. Awesome ride. Steel Vengeance. We went on it twice yesterday. This is a little out of order, but anyways, one morning ride, one night ride. What did you think?
It was super fun, kind of crazy. I like the light ride better.
Yeah, I think after the first ride, it was in the conversation of my favorite ride of all time, and after the night ride, the conversation was kind of over. Relentless, all of a sudden the voiceover, tons of airtime, cool inversions, and even when and then after the block break, no let up, all the way to the run out to into the ready breaks, just up and down. There's like 4 bunny hills just in the ride. So this is awesome. Definitely worth the wait, even if it is an hour and a half. I would say go fast lane. That makes it totally worthwhile. Awesome. So thumbs up on Steel Vengeance. I have one question for you. What time is it?
You're 30?
There goes the early morning Maverick track team. Next up is Gemini. Sort of a, I guess what you'd call an RMC. It looks kind of like Colossus, but it's a wood track, or wood structure and then steel track racing coaster. So it's kind of like a Colossus and kind of like the idea that RMC would later pioneer. Of course, they did it by taking apart coasters and putting a track on top. This was designed this way. But this is a fun racing ride that hopefully we'll ride on this trip, but it's been broken down a few times. So back for more later, Gemini. Cool station though, I really like the 80, early, what is it, late 70s, early 80s font and art direction.
Oh, it's totally cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. One of the things that's interesting also is this park has a lot of stuff that seems, especially in this part of the park, that seems to have been built in the late 70s and early 80s, and instead of replacing it, they just keep it up. So you get a lot of shingle roofs, a lot of popcorn lights, and things you would have found in an amusement park in the early 80s. They just don't let it go to pieces, which is kind of fun. Looks a little bit like a time capsule that way. And this is Cedar Creek Mine Ride. This is the original mine train. Well, when I say original, I mean 69 instead of 72 for Gold, or 71 for Gold Rusher. But this is an Aero mine train from the late 60s, early 70s, when these were, I guess, cutting edge. Still pretty good ride, even though it's 50 years old. How's that sound? 50. 50. It's gonna come around here. Still ends with like a cool helix like Gold Rusher. Has all the lateral forces you'd expect from an old coaster that didn't handle transitions well. But it's a fun ride. They will staple you in if you're a little bit larger than average. The lap bars are padded but not really forgiving. So yeah, Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Fun little mine train. Hey look, it's Magnum XL 200.
You want to go ride Magnum right now?
We'll go, hey Magnum, we'll be back to pick you up later. Magnum is the original hypercoaster, the original Aero hypercoaster, 200 feet, and still, to me, a fun ride, but definitely shows its age. Can be a little rough.
Just a little.
Apparently, don't sit on a wheel seat and you're going to have a better ride.
It does have a cool station though.
Yes, the station is awesome. Very Epcot, concrete, brutalist, early 80s. Although this was built, I think, in 88, so not exactly early 80s. Maybe they were retro before it was cool. Oh yeah, and since we were staying here, we get to walk in here and go back to our hotel over here, and we'll walk the boardwalk, which is fun. So, you know, I don't know much about the hotels around here. Val's done most of the research, but if you can swing it, it is nice. It literally is like a 5-minute walk from the hotel over to the side gate over by Magnum. So it's super, super convenient, especially when you're going to do what we're going to do, which is go take a midday break and go back out later. A little harder to do that if you have to drive out to your hotel and back. So if you have the means, not a bad idea. So if you're standing at the Hotel Breakers, here's your skyline. You have Magnum Water Park, the corner of Gemini, Top Thrill Dragster. The background of Top Thrill Dragster, which you can't really see from here, is Millennium Force. Through the trees would be Aruguru and Valravyn. And then, actually, Valravyn's the one swooping off in the distance. Power Tower, that would be Aruguru. Anyways, pretty impressive. And that's only like a third of their coasters. Here's the opposite side of the breakers. We're gonna pan over the pool, try and keep it to the building, and then you can see off in the distance there's the Windseeker ride and then Wicked Twister, which as of September 6th, 2021 will no longer be in operation. and Lake Erie, which looks like an ocean beach because it's, you know, a great lake. Oh, I think you had a joke, right?
Where do ghosts like to go swimming?
Lake Erie. Okay, that's the type of quality content you're here for, I'm sure. Anyways, it is interesting to see like what looks like a regular old beach on a lake, because where we come from, or where we live right now, I don't want to say where we come from, but we don't have these sort of huge lakes that resemble oceans. Alright, and just like a mid-course break, we are back after a rainstorm, and in the middle of a rainstorm, there's Corkscrew. It's do we call it a classic Aero looper slash corkscrew? It's a classic, and it runs like the classic you think it is. A little more rough than it should be, but it was, you know, it's good for a ride when you're here. Let's go get a better view of the ride, because it actually has some really cool views over the midway, so let's go take a look at that thing. Also on the Gemini Midway, for you drop tower fans, the power tower. 2 towers of drop, 2 towers of shots. Red is the shot up, and teal is the shot, or the projector shot down. Fun ride. Not much to it if you've been on one. This is the same as the one you've been on, except maybe a little taller. It's 300 feet. Top Thrill Dragster is tall. It should be called Tall Thrill Dragster. Looks like Dragster is open. Closed due to rain is Top Thrill Dragster, the intimate 425-foot strata coaster, I guess. It goes up, it comes back down. It's a fun ride, but it's really short and does one thing. What do you think about that one thing?
I still think it does it really well.
It is
really fun.
It is really fun. It's prone to breakdowns, and obviously will not run in the rain. But if you can sneak on it, it's a good ride. You know, like I said about what is it? Accelerator and knots. It's a one-trick pony, but it's a really good trick. So worth the ride. I wouldn't go on it over and over again, but it's a fun shot of adrenaline. Just obviously not in the rain. Not mad about starting my day that way.
No way, man, that was fun.
First ride in, Millennium Force on a travel day, no less, right? Hello, Aruguru. You're really noisy, Aruguru. It turned into a sit-down coaster. Plus, to be perfectly candid, I think Mantis is a more fun name.
It is more fun.
So now that we've had a good Giga experience, now we're going to go get beat up on a couple of classic Aeros, a little Gemini, a little Magnum, and then possibly on the way out we can hit Gatekeeper depending on the line. and do a little shopping. So all in all, considering it's a travel day, off to a rousing start. And next up, Aero. All right, Magnum, and then Monster, and then Gemini. What do you think about Magnum?
It wasn't as bad as I remembered. It might be because we sat in the front.
High praise from Val. Not as bad as I remember.
And it was more fun than I remember. Parts concurred. Parts concurred.
Second out, we rode in the front 1-1, so the very front. It was pretty much a non-event until the second half we got into bunny hops in. A lot of thigh banging action. Then we rode Monster, a classic, midway. And then we finally got Gemini, which is the last coaster on our list for this trip. What do you think?
It was really fun. It was a lot more fun than I remember too.
What side did you ride?
Red side.
Red side. And what'd you win or lose?
We won!
Right, we won. Again, front row. Very fun ride. Considering it's kind of an old ride and odd setup, like I think I mentioned before. Wood structures, tubular steel, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's going to probably wrap up the coaster part of Cedar Point. Now we're going to do a little shopping, and then it's off to Kings Island, going south in Ohio. So, onward. Almost like if that were an iron-on, that would be like a 70s shirt. You can get that at the mall. They could put some puffy letters on the back and put your name on it. Oh. That's what I was looking for. Found your Magnum shirt. There's a Cedar Downs shirt with the ponies.
That's fun.
Coaster cutouts. I guess they don't have them. Maybe the nano coasters are somewhere else. The pouches.
I thought I saw them on the wall.
They might be.
Over there.
Oh, there's some. Oh, and there's retro. I will probably get retro jumbo jet nano coasters. These are $35 before any discount you may or may not get with your pass. This one and maybe the Wildcat. Gemini. Here's some examples of nano coasters. There's Valravyn, Aruguru, Top Thrill Dragster, Raptor, and Millennium Force. And that's going to be a wrap on our 3 days at Cedar Point, August of 2021. A lot of fun. We got on 4 new coasters we haven't been on before and rode some old favorites with my new friend, Gatekeeper, back here. Yeah, a lot of fun. Food, maybe not the best, but I'm not coming here for the food. I'm coming here for the rides, and that did not disappoint. So, until next time, off to the next park. Bye. Motion in the ocean. His arrow is broke.